Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel, your trusted home for hard-hitting commentary, sharp political insight, and fearless takes on South Africa's ever-evolving political battlefield. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, like this video, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a deep dive into the political truths they'd rather you didn't hear. Today, we bring you a bold and unapologetic opinion that's been causing waves on social media, a raw and thought-provoking perspective by Alupheli, a South African political commentator who's not afraid to speak truth to power. In this video, we unpack his viral piece, a powerful rejection of both the ANC and the EFF, a defense of independent thought, and a broader reflection on how society, and especially the media, tries to force individuals into political boxes. At the heart of this conversation is Floyd Shivambu, the former EFF deputy president, whose recent break from the Red Berets left South Africa guessing where he'd land next. But what shocked many wasn't his exit, it was the fact that he didn't immediately join the ANC or launch an attack on Jacob Zuma or the MK party. Breaking the script, Shivambu refuses to be their pawn. When Shivambu walked away from the EFF, the media already had their headlines ready. They expected him to trash Zuma, to label the MK party a tribalist circus with no direction, and to beg for forgiveness for leaving what some still call the EFF cult. But Shivambu didn't do any of that. He refused to perform. He broke away from their expectations. And in doing so, he left the so-called political analysts and social media commentators scrambling for a new script. Alupheli's article points out the real issue. Too many South Africans, especially those in the elite media space, are wedded to a narrative. They need political stories to fit a particular mold. And when someone like Shivambu decides to step out of line, to make a move they didn't anticipate, they're left paralyzed. This isn't about endorsing Shivambu, it's about understanding what his refusal to conform reveals about our political culture. It's about the crippling weight of expectation placed on public figures, and what it means when someone says, "I choose my own path. I will never join ANC or EFF." Alupheli doesn't hold back. He makes his position clear. "I will never join the ANC because it has joined white monopoly capital. I will never join the EFF because it is a cult." That statement might sound harsh to some, but it reflects a deep disillusionment that many South Africans feel. The ANC, once the proud liberation movement of Mandela and Tambo, is now widely seen as having sold out to corporate interests and political elites. From Eskom looting to tender fraud, ordinary South Africans are left with failing public services and rising unemployment, while the elite enrich themselves behind closed doors. On the other side, the EFF began as a radical alternative, but increasingly, it's been plagued by internal authoritarianism, personality cults, and allegations of corruption that mirror the very system it once opposed. The party that shouted "economic freedom in our lifetime" now stands accused of stifling dissent within its own ranks. So where does that leave people like Alupheli, or the millions of South Africans who feel politically homeless? Rejecting the narrative, becoming an outlier. In today's political landscape, it seems like you have to choose a side. You're either red, green, yellow, or blue. But what happens when you reject all those boxes? When you say, "I won't be part of your orchestrated political theater"? You get labeled as an outlier. Or worse, you're ignored. But Alupheli challenges us to see that kind of independence as a form of political resistance, a refusal to become part of a failing system just because everyone says you must. It's a radical rejection of manufactured consent. The media thrives on division. They need to place everyone into neat categories so they can tell a story with a beginning, middle, and end. So when someone refuses to attack Zuma, or refuses to endorse the ANC or EFF, the story falls apart, and they don't know how to handle it. And that's the beauty of breaking free. Is MK the new safe haven? Many assumed Floyd Shivambu would simply walk into the MK party's arms. After all, Zuma's influence is still strong in KZN and among sections of the electorate disillusioned with mainstream politics. But again, Shivambu didn't go there either. Not yet. And that silence has rattled the system even more. Why? Because it means he's thinking for himself, and that's dangerous in a political environment that thrives on groupthink. The MK party, for its part, is battling its own internal demons, leadership crises, accusations of tribalism, and ideological confusion. But at least, in the eyes of some, it still represents a kind of raw, unfiltered resistance. And that's what makes it harder to control. The media wanted Shivambu to endorse their narrative. They wanted a public confession, a political realignment, a breakdown. Instead, what they got was confusion, and in today's world, confusion is a form of rebellion. The bigger picture, media, control, and manufactured outrage. There's a bigger lesson here. Too often, the media and political pundits try to control how we think, what we believe, and who we support. They hand us ready-made villains and heroes. They tell us who's cancelled and who's endorsed. They create outrage cycles not based on truth, but on control. But every now and then, someone steps off the stage. And that's what Floyd did. He left the EFF, refused to bash Zuma, and didn't run into the ANC's warm embrace. He did the unthinkable, he made his own move. Whether you agree with his politics or not, that kind of independence matters. It reminds us that politics doesn't have to be binary. That we can reject all options if none of them serve the people. That freedom lies not in loyalty to a party, but in loyalty to your principles. Final thoughts: forge your own path. As Alupheli so eloquently puts it, true freedom lies in embracing our individuality and rejecting the narratives that seek to define us. South Africa is at a crossroads. Corruption is rife. Leadership is failing. Political parties are recycling the same slogans while ordinary people suffer. But what if the solution doesn't come from another big party, another manifesto, another messiah? What if it comes from people refusing to conform, choosing instead to ask hard questions, hold everyone accountable, and think for themselves? That's the message of this article. And it's one worth spreading. Let us know what you think in the comments. Do you believe the ANC has sold out to corporate power? Is the EFF a political cult? Should Shivambu be praised for his independence, or is he simply playing his own game? Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more raw and real commentary on South African politics. Until next time, stay sharp, stay woke, and see you next time.